Okay, so those of you that use SketchUp, or excuse me, Photoshop, know that one of the most important things is layer management. So let's go ahead and set up our layer management the way we want. So everything here that's named SketchUp Mask, I'm going to grab these, turn them into a group, and we're going to name this Masks. And I'm actually going to pull this all the way down and drop it at the bottom because it's nothing we're going to need visually. It's going to become a reference, and we're going to deal with masks in the next episode. I just want to get those sorted out. The next thing is I'm going to grab all of my base files. So let me turn this off. So basically what I'm getting at is we have our Viz base color files, which is this one. We have our SketchUp base color file. Then we have, this is our watercolor base file. This is our Viz pencil base file and our Viz watercolor base file. So these are all, basically these base files are 5 different ways that we can ultimately change this image. And we'll get more into that as we're moving forward, but it's just different ways of playing essentially with the same thing. So I want to group all of these together, and I want to call this base images. And I'm actually going to come in here and do grouping these again, and I'm going to call these original. So that I always have an original version to go with. You don't have to do this because really, let's say we're going to start with this Viz watercolor version. I'm just going to Control J to make a copy of it. I'm going to pull it out of that watercolor folder, and I'm going to turn my originals off. So this is what I'm going to have as my base file to start with. And but if I ever mess this up or change it or whatever, I always have an original one to go back to. It's just something I like to do. It's definitely optional and not needed. And so the next thing, the next groupings we want to do are going to be our lines. You can see all of our SketchUp lines are here, and so we're going to group those together, and we're going to call these lines. I'm going to pull this out of this group. Lines will usually end up near the top, so I'm going to throw those up there. My interiors I'm going to leave as its own, so I'm going to drop it right below the lines, and all I'm left with is my SketchUp shading and shadow. And so all I'm going to do is rename this group to shading shadow group. So there we have it. These are our initial layers that we're working with, and grouping those initial layers. We're going to add a few more once we start making masks and start getting into some fun stuff. So we just have just a little bit more setup to do in creating masks, and we're going to do that on the next video, but that will go pretty quick.